Good afternoon, it's Lee Cassidy from Tactile Technology with my regular Thursday session, which is in the hot seat with Lee Cassidy, but focused around people who've been through the Goldman Sachs 10K program. So it's the Goldman Sachs 10,000 program for small businesses. So today what we've got is we've got Ben De Grouchy of ecruit going to join us, and he was on one of the latter of the programs, especially through the actual COVID era. So he had a slightly different experience to a lot of us in that. But also tomorrow, what I've got is my Friday security session. I'm talking about number plate recognition and what you can do with number plates in that space as well. So, join me tomorrow for that. So what I'm going to do now is just bring Ben along into it, and we can kick off. So here we go. How are you doing, Ben?
I'm good, thanks, Lee. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. So I've got a phone ringing in the background, so I'm not perfectly set up. I normally turn everything off, but it was ringing away in the background. But welcome to In the Hot Seat.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So what I want to do first is to get a bit of background of you and the business prior to you doing the Goldman Sachs program, which was quite recent, wasn't it? It was earlier last year. So let's go back to early days of Ben in work. The type of jobs you've done, things to the point where you set up or became a part of ecruit.
Yeah, sure. So I've always worked in recruitment. I set up my first recruitment company in 2007, and it was a classic kind of headhunting business, and we were very much focused on the big blue chip companies, recruiting sales and marketing people into clients such as Pepsi and Unilever and Nestle. And whilst we were always kind of really small, the clients used to really like us because we were very much sector specialists in that area. And I did that for many years until I got up to the point where, and this was 4 years ago or so, when I really kind of fancied a change and felt that the market had changed significantly. A lot of our big customers were bringing their recruitment teams in-house, using less and less kind of classic recruiters, and the businesses I really enjoyed working with often were kind of the smaller ones that couldn't necessarily afford the fees for big recruitment agencies, and so we set up ecruit. And ecruit is a business that is solely focused on the small to medium-sized sector and helps little businesses recruit directly. So saving 95% of the cost of using a traditional recruitment agency.
So when did you found ecruit then?
So ecruit was founded in 2016.
So not too long ago then, just over 4 years.
Yeah, we were one of the younger people on the Goldman Sachs course.
Okay, so what'd be good now is just to talk about how you found out about the program, and also that the actual process of selection, because I know that a lot of people within the academic community that support it, plus the Goldman Sachs people, are very selective about the organisations and the individuals they have on the program.
Yeah, definitely. So I found out about the program actually through two main paths. A friend of mine had done it a couple of years back, and he spoke very, very highly of it. And then the following year, one of my nearest competitors, who I respect a lot, it came up on his profile, I'm joining the Goldman Sachs program. And didn't want to have the fear of missing out when he graduated from it.
Yeah.
And I did speak to him, and he said it was absolutely amazing. So I found out about it online and started doing more and more research, and realised that actually I felt it was the right time for myself to embark on a program such as this.
And what was the interview process like for you?
Well, you have to fill in. You have to match certain criteria in terms of minimum number of employees, turnover, which we were fine with. And I found the actual process to enter was pretty. It was fine. We had to submit some financial statements of our business. We had to basically give information about our company, what we were looking to achieve, and just introduce it. That was the first selection piece of criteria. And then after that, we were invited into a panel interview where we met some of the key growth experts who have, mentored people through the program for years. So we did a panel interview, and after that, I got the good news: I got accepted.
So once you'd got the acceptance and it kicked off, I'm assuming you went on a residential. So where did you do your first residential?
So this year, Goldman Sachs partnered with Said Business School, which is up at Oxford University, and we went up there for a 3-day residential course, along with, I think there was 100 other small business directors or owners who came up on the initial 3-day course.
And part of that, what type of businesses were within your group?
Well, they split the 100 businesses down into a group of about 6. So in my personal growth group, we had 6 different companies, and they were really diverse. And I think that was the point. So we had someone who owned a jewelry shop in Angel, an amazing designer, through to somebody who just set up a fantastic app that helps people design, do interior design from their home. So it's a mixture of retail, technology. We had digital marketing agency, chartered surveyor. It was a nursery owner. It was a real mix.
Yeah, we had someone who made cakes, but very large cakes for very special events, like very highbrow weddings and things like that. But we had people who worked in the servicing of water pumping equipment for the utilities. There's all sorts of things in our group, and I think a lot of people think they're going to be in there with people who are very similar to themselves. It's going to be, in your case, nearly 100 recruitment companies, but it's not. They're all very different. And what I found, I don't know about yourself, is once you start to go through the process, a lot of the issues and things out in their business were very similar to the ones we had. Was that your experience?
Yeah, that was. We actually had a cake guy as well. I think his company's like the Exploding Cake Company, and it was. I got on really well with him. He's a great guy, baker. But it was interesting because one of the key insights is that we felt, a lot of us feel quite lonely when you're running a business, especially at times like this, which can be really, really tough. But the same themes came up over and over again in terms of staffing issues, marketing issues, maybe some internal like legal stuff came up quite a lot. So it was great to have the diversity of different businesses, but essentially everyone was facing the same challenges.
Yeah, that was our experience as well. So, everybody had the similar problems, and working together, you could support one another, which I think was a really good thing. So you went through the process, and I think like myself, yours was majority online. So you were doing, was it 2 sessions a week?
Yeah, a couple of sessions a week. So you'd have generally you'd have the whole cohort would do like a learning exercise bit on finance, for example. That was one of the modules that we did, and you would have one of the growth experts giving you the let's say, for example, how to read your balance sheet, or how to do some ratios that will help you understand your business better. And then you'll go away and prepare a real practical exercise based on your business, so you get to put it into learning, and you present it back to your growth, to your 6 people in your growth panel. So it was super practical rather than just being all online theory.
And so you understand your EBITDA now, then, I'm guessing.
That's one of the things we understand now. Yeah, that was great. In fact, we were a bit lucky because our growth expert was the finance guy, Niall. So we had a little bit of extra help with the finance.
Oh, that sounds good, doesn't it? So
Yeah.
what areas, as you went through, were key ones from your perspective? So things that really help you, because I think everybody goes through the program has had different experiences. So it all depends on, as you as an individual and your business, which particular modules are most important. So which would you say were the best for you?
I mean, we took a lot out of the different modules, but so for example, one of the the original diagnostics at the beginning of the program, you go and look at, you analyze your business, do a diagnostic where you look at, really get into the minds of your customers, look at who your competitors are and what your proposition is, and how do you actually, feed in and satisfy exactly what your customers want. And that was really interesting. And we managed to change our business proposition, take out a lot of stuff. We were trying to do a lot of different things, and we stripped it all back, kept it super, super simple. And that was really helpful. I enjoyed that a lot. And then the finance was great. It's something I've never had training in, and to be able to get that knowledge of, to be really comfortable and getting into your P&L, really understanding some of the, your gross margins and your return on, investment. All of that was super helpful. But I suppose the most important one for me was marketing, because at the time we had a very specific issue with our marketing. And so to be able to put some dedicated time to really work on our business, rather than just focus being in the company selling and doing what MDs do, that was the most valuable module for me.
Yeah, I think that's quite an important thing. So there's a big push within the Goldman Sachs program to be working on the business as well as in the business. And a lot of people spend all the time working in the business like an employee, and they don't spend much time actually working on the business to improve it and to add different processes and procedures to make it better. So I think that's really critical, understanding when you're working on or in the business.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think the other thing is looking at alignment with other staff members. And there's been a theme over the previous interviews I've done where people have looked at is everybody, and again, a Goldman Sachs term used to be, on the bus, and are they all facing the right direction? So looking at your leadership, your vision and your mission, and making sure that everybody knows where you should be going as a business and why, and everybody's actually pushing in the right direction together. Because otherwise you could have a situation where other people are actually pushing away from where you want to be.
Yeah, I think that's it. Probably the most common thing that came up over the course of the program, the most common issue that everybody had was kind of staffing issues. Whether they had the right people there to take them to where the business has to go, whether they need to employ more people, even down to actually leading who you've got, how you can motivate, empower, give people purpose, and bring them on to your kind of mission and vision. And that was something I found really interesting. And I think we did a module on that as well, actually. And I read a book called Who. And if from a recruiting perspective, if you're thinking of building your team and you're not sure how to do it, or do go out and read the book Who. I bought it up in one of the growth panels, and apparently it used to be kind of core reading on the syllabus, but it's evolved and so forth. But that is a really good tool that I shared with everybody that helps overcome maybe hiring challenges and making sure you got the right person on the bus, as you say.
I should be on Amazon when we finished having a look and ordering a copy. I think that was covered in the program that you don't tend to see in many other areas is corporate social responsibility. So understanding how your organization can give back to the local community with some kind of social enterprise or thinking in that way. Was that something you did any work on?
It's not, but it's something that we're working on now. I think one of the purposes of the program, actually, what it taught me is what you shouldn't do as much as kind of what you should do. And we were trying to do an awful lot when we went into it, and we looked at what our real key issues were and focused on that. But as our business has evolved over the last year, there's been other issues that have come up, and we've been thinking a lot about purpose and mission and values. And one of our missions that we're working with our team is to be one of the UK's first carbon negative recruitment agencies. And this is, I suppose, feeds into the higher purpose of what we're looking to do, and how we can give back a little bit.
So as you were going through the different modules and learning different areas, were you bringing that straight back to the business, or did you wait till the end of the complete program and then start to try and introduce some things at the end of the program?
Some of it we could just do straight away, like things like when COVID hit, for example, one of the things we did with our growth experts was, pretty much like a micro cash flow forecast, where you're looking at your cash flow from almost on a daily, definitely a weekly basis. And that's something we did straight away and was super helpful. And we all needed to do it. Whereas a lot of the more strategic projects, for example, hiring, marketing support, we waited till the end and then put the whole strategy together so we could implement it, one bit at a time.
And I'm assuming you built out a growth plan as part of the process. So what have you done with that growth plan? Is it sat in a cupboard, gaining dust? Have you implemented it into a real business plan? What have you actually done with that final piece of delivery?
Well, I mean, the growth plan was the outcome of the whole program. So you come and stepping back a little bit from that, we come to the end of our first 3 years, we satisfied our business plan, and that's what I wanted from this program. What am I going to do with the next 3 years? Yeah. So with that plan, we've managed to we identified 2 or 3 kind of key areas we are really going to focus on. So one was we was on our proposition, and we wanted to enter a new market, and straight away, we launched into the US market. We took our products over there, and that now accounts for something like 50% of all of our revenue. So that had a massive impact on our company, and a very, very fast impact. And it was great because the UK's had a real trouble, more so than the US economy-wise, with COVID in our sector. We've implemented a new scorecard system, which allows us to kind of bring everybody, it aligns everybody in the team, and it keeps us on track with what we're doing. It allows us to be accountable to our business growth plan as well. And that's got tied into real-time business reporting, so we can see exactly what's going on in any area of the business, in real time. So it hasn't sat, it's in a cupboard now, but that's because we've already implemented all the bits and pieces, and it's been super helpful.
Yeah, I'm going to say a lot of people didn't have a lot of these metrics, these KPIs and things, to understand how the business was functioning, whether that's KPIs within each departmental area. So understanding, like in your case, how many recruits were coming in, how quickly they were going back out, what levels of revenue you're making on them, and those kind of things. And also a lot of people didn't really have those regular reports on cash flow, what their profitability looks like, and other things. They may be looking at the top line figure, what they've actually turned over, but the reality is understanding your profitability is quite key, isn't it? And also, I think a lot of people didn't really understand where they were going. They didn't understand how they would find money to invest in the business, or how they would recruit the right employees to move forward.
Yeah, the one story actually off the back of that, which it resonated with me. It's really interesting. Someone in our growth group ran a series of nurseries, forestry nurseries, and as part of her finance module, she was encouraged to break down her different divisions. So, for example, after school care, have a separate P&Ls for all their different businesses, and she worked out that one of the divisions had been losing, money, but it had been completely covered up by the other ones. And through going into that detailed financial analysis, she identified the problem, fixed it, and then brought that area up to profitability, which just wouldn't have happened unless you'd spent the time to to break it down to that level.
Yeah, I'm going to say sometimes if you don't have the information readily available, it's hard to understand what's happening, isn't it? So, how has all this learning and and your personal development impacted the business going forward? You talked about the move to the US, and 50% of your revenue are now coming from the US side of things. I'm sure that's an area a lot of people are interested in, moving to different countries and spreading the risk. So you've got revenues from different places, but what other benefits have you had, from a revenue, profitability, and also general running of the business?
I think that one of the key benefits at the time, we were in the middle of creating these fantastic growth plans for the business, and then right in the middle, COVID struck and pulled the rug out from underneath all of us, and having a network, which we do now, of 100 other small business owners who are all facing the same issues. I mean, it gives you a tremendous feeling of kind of confidence, of a network of people I can call, rely on. It's one of the biggest things, and it really, I can call up anyone in my growth group and they'll be able to answer a question about what they did in terms of funding the business, maybe how they have it might be down to some new reporting they put in, how they managed a staffing issue that came up. And I think the most important thing that I've got out of it is that network of other small business owners that I can just go to with problems. That was the value of that's immeasurable.
Yeah, it's like having your own mastermind group, isn't it? With all the specialists in all the different areas, because of that diversity of the different businesses and the experiences as well of each of those individuals. What about the alumni? Have you done any alumni events yet? I know you're quite early into this, so I think your I've got the terminology. Your event that finish your year off was towards the end. I think it was the Tim Peake one, wasn't it? Where you did your graduation.
Yeah, that was it. So the alumni. We had Tim Peake, the astronaut, come on and talk to us about resilience and overcoming issues, and it was great. It was a massive shame we couldn't do it in person, because after I was saying to you actually before we started, the energy that you have when you've got a room of 100 kind of like-minded, ambitious small business owners, all together, it's electric, it's fantastic. And unfortunately we couldn't meet this time, but we have Goldman Sachs have promised that when this issue has subsided somewhat, we're all going to get together and enjoy like a proper get together again. And in the meantime, we've been getting together with our growth groups about once every 6 weeks, 8 weeks, off our own bat, just because we grew really close, throughout the last year. It was, and I think we'll probably continue doing that. We enjoy it very much so.
I'm going to say there was one earlier than that. I don't think you would have been invited because you hadn't actually graduated at that time. But we had Karen Brady, Baroness Karen Brady, on there, and talking about how she'd gone through her business career and some of the challenges she'd had, and it was quite inspiring listening to her as well in that one. And there's regular events talking about different things throughout the year, which so it's not just that one 6-month section. At the end of it, you're cut free and there's nothing else. There's all this alumni activity where people get together. People do events online at the moment because of the current situation, and again, it's that wider community of alumni that allows you to get much more exposure for your business and also assistance for the kind of things you're looking for.
Yeah, even now I've seen there's an email that came round this week about a business surgery group that they're doing. So the panel have volunteered to give slots to people that might be facing particular business issues, and you can go to the panel, talk around that, and they'll give their advice and guidance. So the extra support was something I hadn't even thought of going through the program, but it is all there.
So what about the future then? So what's the future for Ben, and what's the future for ecruit going forward then?
Great question. So we very much went from a we were having tremendous growth, double digit, month on month. COVID struck, which has been really, really tough for the recruitment industry. So our team, we hunkered down, we battened down the hatches, and we've worked with a lot of key customers, helping them. But very much at the moment, it's about stability, it's about keeping the team together, and about focusing our core set of customers. But we have already started to see kind of green shoots in the business, and I think that when we have when the market is slightly has got slightly better, we're going to be we expect to get back to the levels of growth that we were experiencing like during the the beginning parts of the program. So I think it's a case of for everybody now running a small business, it's about keeping a real close eye about what's going on, keep it investing in the right places and the right marketing. You can't stop, so that we are in a great position when people are there ready, waiting to hire, that they come and call on us, so that we can help them out.
So how's the experience of working from home, or working differently, been for yourself and your team? Because we see this now as potentially the norm going forward. A lot of organizations are talking about actually continually working in this flexible manner from home. How are you thinking about that?
Yeah, it's I was having a chat actually to a friend who works for a big blue chip business, and very different from ours, but they echoed our sentiments on it. So we had an office in central London, in Holborn, had done for since we started the business, but all the way since I started my first business 12 years ago or so. And I was very much an office guy, loved going in, loved the buzz of the office, didn't really want to leave it. But we moved to a completely remote working structure. We all work from home, and we were doing meetups once a month or so. Obviously we can't even do that now. I think the way forward for us is we're going to keep a probably 70% working from home model, and maybe try and get together maybe once a week or something like that, when the time allows, because I still think that's important. And we've spoken to other members of the cohort about maybe renting offices together, so that we can go in there and share office space. So we have, a private space, but we could maybe kind of club together. So there is a dedicated space for us to go maybe once, twice a week, or whenever anybody wants to. That's our loose plan, but who knows?
And how have you coped from a technology perspective? Because a lot of businesses were in different situations with how they did telephony, how they did accessing computer systems and their CRM and all those things. Has it been pretty straightforward for you with this change to flexible home working?
Yeah, I think we were much luckier than a lot of other businesses that were on the cohort. Like, we were set up for home working anyway. Everything for us is kind of based in the cloud. We had, VoIP. Our sales director used to work from home a couple of days a week anyway, because he's based in Northampton. So we were lucky. We already had something in place, but we just needed to roll it out, kind of super quickly to everybody else. But I know it was, it was much more difficult for, a lot of other members of the cohort. And I think it was useful for them to have, there's a lot of technology businesses actually on the program as well, IT, technology, that kind of thing. So they had a great network to support them. But thank God, not an issue for us too much, Lee.
So going forward then, do you want to give people a picture of, if they wanted to use ecruit, what they get from it, and how you are different from other recruitment companies?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, ecruit helps solely small to medium-sized businesses hire directly without paying recruitment agency fees. So typically, if you want to hire, let's say, a developer, you'll pay someone 20% of their basic salary, for example. Where we created a piece of technology and an advertising network that allows you to get a really good search engine optimized advert out to 20 million job seekers at the click of a button. You will get an amazing response from this. You always do, because the reach is so big, and we therefore have a piece of technology which is free. You can manage your whole recruitment campaign from it, and we help filter all of the CVs. So really, with us, you just spend your time interviewing and hiring, and there's only one small fixed fee of $3.99 per vacancy. And we fill 94% of vacancies. So I think the message is, if you're looking to hire and worried about the recruitment cost, have a look at ecruit, because we can get you to that point of hire much cheaper and more efficiently than you going away and using a traditional recruiter.
Well, $3.99 is definitely a lot cheaper than using a traditional recruitment company. I'll definitely get that. So what I'd like to do is I'll just put up your details on the screen. So if anybody wants to speak to Ben, here's Ben's contact details. It's ben@ecruit.co.uk, or you can go to the website www.ecruit.co.uk. Have a look at it. If you're interested in working with Ben and his business to learn a little bit how you could actually recruit staff much better and also cheaper, please do so. But it's been great having you on. Thank you very much for your time today. Hopefully, with all the work you've done with the program, you're off to greater things going forward. And it sounds like you've done a lot of that already. So you've taken a lot of the learning and actually implemented that in the business, and it's already started to take some effect. Especially the move into selling the US. I think that's an amazing piece. We've got one of the usual on video live things going on behind you, because you don't know, a little girl's just come through a door behind you. we seem to have that these days nowadays. Children, dogs, cats, and lots of guitars on the wall. It seems to be a major thing. I seem to have lost audio from you. I'm not sure.
Luckily, I didn't have the cat come and pounce on me, but it sounds like Coco's let the cat in as well. So it's good timing we've come to the end, because all hell's about to break loose behind me, Lee.
Okay. Well, thank you very much again for your time today. I'm going to say, I think a lot of people should be able to see the benefit of what you've gained from the program itself. And I wish you all the luck in the future.
Brilliant, Lee. Thanks very much. Take care.
Thanks a lot. Bye then.
Bye.